Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Nikki Nicole and I am doing another YouTube video in regards to trying to conceive on my journey to conceiving with my husband. Um, Again, thank you again for joining. Like, subscribe this video, comment below, ask questions. I will respond and let you know. If you do have any questions, feel free to ask me and I will reply. Okay, so I am waiting on a video to upload right now on the story of myself trying to conceive from day one to now, which is 7 years almost of trying to conceive naturally, um, without any fertility drugs. Okay, so on my last video, it has not uploaded. I pray to God it uploads. Hopefully it does, so you guys can see the story or hear the story and hear what I had to share, and I hope you like it and it helps you in the long run. So if you can give me about 30 seconds, I will be right back and I'm going to tell you about my HSG results and my HSG test. So again, give me a few seconds and I'll be right back. Alright, so I am back, and for those who are joining me again, thank you for joining. Again, my name is Nikki Nicole, and I am here to tell you about my journey on trying to conceive. Let me turn this phone down. Hopefully it's not going to be a long video like the other one. The other one that I just uploaded is literally 28 minutes. It's telling you everything about my trying to conceive. Okay, so I'm going to start by saying the first beginning of the HSG test. My doctor, OBGYN, sent me to get a HSG test done because he wanted to make sure my tubes were open. However, I was getting ready to start my first cycle of Clomid, and I did start my first cycle of Clomid. Today is September. Sorry, today is September the 15th, 2020. I started my cycle on August the 22nd of 2020, and of course, HSG test, they want you to come in the day you get your cycle. They want you to let them know and go ahead and get scheduled, and they'll tell you around that time what day to come in, literally leading to your almost last day of cycle, or third. I think it's the third or fifth day of your cycle or something like that. They'll get you scheduled, or right when you're finna come off your cycle, whichever one, but they'll get you scheduled shortly after. So August the 29th is when I went to go and get my HSG test done. I started taking my Clomid on August the 26th, which was day 5 of my cycle. So in that, when I went to go and get the HSG test done, when I first went in, and I will tell you guys about the Clomid symptoms and things later, but I'll do another video on it. When I went in, of course, it's COVID, so gotta wear a mask. But when I went in, I filled out my paperwork, signed in, and then the lady at the front, it was a fertility clinic is where I went to. My insurance covered part of it. I heard the test was like $500 for some clinics and some is $350. The one I went to, their original price out of pocket is $350. I don't remember the name of it just right off. I hope you guys can hear me because I have my phone propped up. This is all non-edited. Everything is real. Okay, so I filled my paperwork out, and then she began to process my insurance information and get the payment. I literally paid little of nothing because of the insurance that I had. Thank God. They told me it was going to be $84 when I went. when I did come, but when I got there, it was only $44. So God is good. Yes, He is. Because I was really like, oh my God, I'm going to have to pay a lot of money. And then they said 84. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Then they said 44. I was like, yes. So thank God for that and for my insurance. So I processed my payment. Then I sit in the waiting room for probably like maybe 5 minutes after filling my paperwork out. The nurse came and got me. I went back to a room. I will post pictures when I make another video of me getting ready to go into the room and pretty much show you guys how the room looked and a little bit of how the room was set up. It didn't give a lot. It was just basically a normal room with a sink and little tools and things like that. And then they had the tools that they were going to use on me. They had some of those things already out and ready to do the test. So that was nice that it was already prepared. Then shortly after, a lady came in and she gave me a gown and told me, asked me to have any questions, told me that the doctor will be right in and that I needed to get undressed from the waist down and I could leave my top on and put the gown on. They gave me like a paper gown, white paper gown. So I did that, got dressed, and she told me to step up on the it was a stepping stool so I can get up on the table, and she told me to lie back or whatever, and the doctor will be in, go ahead and get comfortable. So I did that. I was thinking that this test was going to be boom, out the door, it's okay, it's good. So when we first got situated, the doctor came in. They basically talked to me about, did I know what was going on, what was going to happen. I said yes. Do you have any more questions for me before we get started? No. They told me that they were going to, he told me he was going, it was a he, going to use a speculum to insert inside of me. It's like the little duck lips that they use to do pap smears and things. He said he was going to first insert that, and I think he cleaned me a little bit with like iodine or something like that. And then after that, I don't think it was a catheter. I think it was some other type of tool that they use to with like a, not a needle, but it looks like the syringe thingy that he inserted on like a plastic like, I can't really describe it. It's kind of like a catheter, but it's not a catheter. They use different methods to do the test. So which I looked that up. You can Google that if you want to know which type of methods that they use. But I did that. Sit there, I lay there. Everything was okay up until after he told me. He said, you may feel a little pressure, kind of like menstrual cramps, so don't be afraid, everything's gonna be okay. And he said, if you want to, you can look at the screen. It was a screen to my right. They put like a after I prop my legs up and the little foot things where you put your feet up, I prop my feet up, and after I did that, and he got to inserting the speculum and then the dye, he said I could look at the screen that was over to my right and see the dye flowing out of my tubes. And so I tried to look at the screen, and as I began to look at the screen, I don't know what came over me, but I felt like I was having period cramps, but 10 times worse. Like, it hurt. He said it was not going to take that long. As he pushed the dye through, all I felt was my back, like when your back is cramping from abdominal pains, from cycles, from your period. I just feel bad cramps. Like I was saying, I'm sorry, I had to pause it. I had to sneeze. Like I was saying, the pain was a lot. It was a lot. It wasn't too bad when it comes down to you having to get the test done if you can take menstrual cramps, but I don't like pain. I have a low tolerance for pain. I do not like pain. So when I'm on my cycle, I really don't have a lot of cramps anymore like that, but back when I first started my cycles and things, they were very painful, especially with PCOS. If you look at my other video, you'll know that I was back 2013-14 diagnosed with PCOS, and then I was told that the cyst went away, so everything was okay. So I don't know. I haven't been really tested again like lately for that. So hopefully everything is okay on that end. But anyway, so after he got done, it probably lasted it seemed like it lasted for like 2 minutes or almost 3 minutes. It probably was just a minute. It's just the pain. I didn't like the way it made me, my back and my lower stomach, my abdominal area. I didn't like the way it made me feel. It hurt. And so he's finally took it out and said, okay, you can get up and get dressed after I get done going over. So he went to the screen and he told me that first thing he said was, your left tube is open. You can get pregnant. I said, okay. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm trying to hear. He said, so you definitely can get pregnant. And then he said, the right tube, the left tube, I had quick spill, which means that the dye came out of the left tube. He said the right tube was drip. He said it slowly dripped. But he did get drops out of the right tube. So, excuse me, my allergies. So I was like, okay. I'm like, oh. So as long as my left one, you only need one tube technically, but I wanted to be both of them, good. So as long as he didn't tell me they were closed, I was thankful. He told me that they were abnormal and that my tubes were open, but they were damaged. He said there are several different things that could have caused the damage, such as ectopic pregnancies, chemical pregnancies, bacteria infections, pelvic inflammatory infections, STDs, miscarriages, just different things like that. He said that could have affected the tubes, and I was like, okay, I don't know, exactly what, because I have not been told this is what exactly did it. I just know that he told me that they were damaged, but I can conceive. So I was like, okay, great, thank you. And he said, I will send the information over to your OBGYN and he can go over the results with you. And he asked me, was I on any fertility drug? I told him yes, that I was recently taking Clomid, that I'm on my last few pills as we speak, which that Sunday, which was the 30th of August, I would have been done with my pills, which I was. So he said, great. So with the fertility drug on top of your left tube having quick spill, you may conceive this month. He said, continue trying for the next 3 months. When you have the dye test, it tends to remove, I guess, some blockage or whatever that could have possibly been there, and it could have been something that could have been in the way of stopping the sperm from reaching my egg. So he said definitely try this month. So I was like, okay, I was glad to hear that much. So I got up after they left out, and I got dressed. And after I got dressed, I felt like some stuff coming out of me. I guess that was the dye. And of course, remind you, I was kind of on my cycle still. So thank God I brought a pad with me, an extra pad. And so I got my doctor's note and things, and I left and went to the restroom because I just felt, when I stood up after walking for like a few minutes, I felt like a rush of something just running out. So I was like, let me hurry up. I think I just came on my period very bad. But when I got to the restroom, it was more so of the dye, I think, that was spilling out. And it was, of course, menstrual, my cycle. It was both. And when I went to use the restroom, felt like something just had fell out of me, like a clot, a big clot. So I looked back, and it was a big clot that had fell out of me, and I was like, huh? And I just was like, okay, whatever. I don't know what that was, but whatever. It just came out. So I got myself together, went to the car, and told my husband what was going on, and that was that. So on the HSG test, long story short on that, it is a good thing to get, to make sure your tubes are open. When I went back to my doctor, he explained to me that my tubes were open. I asked him, were they open? When I did a follow up with him, and he said yes, they were open, and that I can conceive. He just told me pretty much what the guy said. He said, did he already tell you? I said, yes, he's already told me pretty much everything I told you guys. He just explained to me that if I did get a positive, he said definitely try this month. But if you do get a positive, make sure that you call me. He asked me about the Clomid and told me that I shouldn't have took the Clomid with the HSG test having done, because that's why I was having a longer period. I was supposed to come off on the 29th, and I didn't. It lasted for 4 more days. So that, with that being said, don't get your HSG test done while you're taking the Clomid. Don't do it at the same time. Don't take the pill and have the test done 3 days later. Don't combine the two. Basically, wait till after you take the HSG test and then start your Clomid, or whatever the case may be. So that way you don't have bleeding for 2 days extra or 2 weeks extra, from what he told me. So mine's only lasted 4 days more. So anyway, on that note, he did tell me to let him know, excuse me, if I got a positive, because if I did get a positive, he wanted to bring me in immediately, because I was at risk of an ectopic pregnancy, meaning my baby could get stuck in the tubes, and he did not want that. So he said that's because of your right tube basically being very damaged. It's like, he said, it's like a hole like this, where there's like a small crack of where you can go in, and the left tube is like this, where they should be like this. So he said you can get pregnant in either one of them, but just be careful and make sure that if you get a positive, to call me. So I said, okay, fine by me. And I was like, okay, everything's gonna be okay. Hopefully I get pregnant in my left tube, but I don't have these problems. But even in my left tube, there's a possibility of whatever he was saying. So I was just like, I'm just gonna keep the faith and pray. So with that being said, you guys, that's the story on the HSG test. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have comments, questions that need to be answered, I'm here to answer the questions. This is real. This is not edited. I did pause it for a minute because I had a few things that I had to do. But other than that, like, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you think about the video. If it was helpful for you, if it was helpful, if you need any assistance with, getting ready to get the test done, I can, kind of walk you through on what to expect if you didn't understand the video on what I was trying to say. Let me know what you think of it. I'm trying to get my viewers up so that I can find out, who else is going through what I've been through. So, yes, again, there was my story on my HSG test for trying to conceive baby number 1, baby Bob. Thank you guys. Have a blessed one and have a good night.